I still remember the morning like it was yesterday. It wasn't one of those picture-perfect sunrises with the skies bursting into brilliant colors. Instead, it was a simple, quiet start to a day that promised everything and nothing at all. Rolled out of bed, feeling a mix of excitement and that familiar flutter of nerves. Today was the day I was going to finally sort out all that had been building up inside me, and maybe, just maybe, start something new. "Hey, come on, my buddy," Jake said as he pulled on his sneakers in the kitchen. "Don't you think it's about time we got moving?" I stretched and yawned, replying, "Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't want to waste the day just laying around." We both loved mornings like these. Simple, unhurried, yet full of potential. Our town was small. Everyone knew everyone else. And each day we would share stories, jokes, and sometimes the kind of deep conversations you rarely have in the big city. Jake and I set off on our daily walk around town. The streets were already buzzing with the sound of friendly greetings and the aroma of fresh coffee from the local cafe. "Morning, Mrs. Carter," I called out as I passed by the little bakery. She always had a smile and something sweet too. "Say, oh, you boys, don't forget to grab a pastry if you pass by later." The day slowly unfolded and we headed towards the park. You know how it is. Sometimes you just need to get away from the usual routine and be in nature for a while. In the park, kids played tag while older folks sat on benches feeding the birds. It was one of those places where every small smile felt important. Sitting on the grass, we started talking about life, the little quirks of our days, and even shared some of our personal fears. "Honestly," Jake said, "sometimes I feel like I'm stuck here doing the same thing over and over. But then I think maybe it's not about changing everything at once. Maybe it's just about making this one moment better." I nodded and added, "I get what you mean. I mean, every day feels like a repeat of yesterday, right? But then I think about how small choices add up, like choosing to talk to someone new or even just smiling at a stranger can make all the difference." Our words were soft but sincere. It was that kind of honest conversation where you feel like you're working through the pieces of your own life out loud. After our park talk, we decided to head over to the community center, where a small fair was taking place. There were food trucks lined up with sizzling treats, and people gathered around to watch a local band playing upbeat tunes. The atmosphere was infectious. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music blended into one big celebration of community life. I grabbed a bite at a food truck selling the best grilled cheese sandwich I've ever had. There was something incredibly simple yet satisfying about that sandwich. Warm, melty, and exactly what I needed. While savoring my meal, I thought about how these little joys often go unnoticed in the hustle of everyday life. In the midst of the fair, I bumped into Sarah, an old friend I hadn't seen since high school. "Oh, wow, it's been so long," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with genuine surprise and delight. We immediately sat down at one of the picnic benches to catch up. "So, what have you been up to?" I asked casually. Sarah smiled and began, "Well, you know how it is. Living day by day, laughing a lot and making the best of things, no matter how weird they get. I recently started a small art project. I'm actually painting murals in the city. It's a lot harder than I thought, but it feels amazing to see my work brighten up a wall that was once so dull." Her words hit me with an unexpected energy. I've always admired people who take risks, who take the time to do what makes them happy, even if it's not exactly the norm. "That sounds incredible," I replied. "I sometimes think about doing something totally different, but then life just pulls me back to what's safe." She looked at me with that determined spark in her eyes and said, "Maybe it's not about doing something completely different right away. Sometimes it's just about taking a little step, a small change that might lead you somewhere unexpected." It was like she was challenging me to see the beauty in everyday courage. Later, when the fair was winding down, Jake, Sarah, and I ended up at a quiet little diner on the outskirts of town, a place where every table felt like it belonged in a scene from an old movie. We ordered our meals with the kind of ease that comes from years of familiarity and comfort. The clatter of cutlery and soft chatter in the background made everything feel warm and inviting. As we ate, Jake brought up something that had been on his mind for a while. "Guys, do you ever get the feeling that we're all just waiting for something big to happen?" he asked, staring into his coffee cup as if it held all the answers. "Like, we're stuck in this loop and we need a break." I looked at him and thought for a moment. "I think it depends on what you call big. Sometimes a break isn't about a grand change or a sudden thrill. It's about the small everyday things that add up. It might be spending time with friends or enjoying a quiet evening. The big moment is sometimes just one more ordinary day that makes you realize life isn't so ordinary after all." Sarah nodded in agreement, sharing her own story. "I used to think I needed to be doing something groundbreaking every day to matter. But now I understand that every genuine conversation, every shared smile, is a bit of a miracle. It's not always about changing the world in one go. Sometimes it's about changing the world inside of you." Our conversation was interrupted by a sudden downpour. Rain pelted the windows of the diner, giving everything a soft, blurry look. We all laughed and quickly darted outside, scrambling for cover. Standing in the rain together felt almost like a scene out of a movie. Just a bunch of friends huddled close, making memories instead of worrying about the mess. In that moment, with the rain washing over us and mixing with our laughter, I realized that life is a series of moments. Some are loud and flashy, while others are soft whispers that remind you just how much beauty you can find in the ordinary. We ended up dancing in the rain, not caring about the cold or the wetness. It was just us, freely enjoying a spontaneous moment. The rain eventually subsided, leaving behind a fresh, clean scent that made everything seem new. As the sun peeked out again, we made our way towards the little hill on the edge of town, a spot where many of us would go to watch the sky. It wasn't the highest hill, but it held a special place in our hearts because of all the times we'd sat together, sharing dreams and fears, watching the world light up. Sitting on the hill, we gazed out over the town. I pointed to the old clock tower in the center and said, "That clock has seen more sunsets than any of us can count." Jake grinned and added, "Yeah, it's been ticking away, reminding us that time never stops, whether we're ready or not." In that quiet space, every one of us was left thinking about our own journey. I recalled the early morning when the day began simply, without any grand plans or big promises, just the possibility of a fresh start. Here I was, surrounded by people who made everyday moments extraordinary. It was as if time slowed down, allowing all those small moments to shine. "We all have our little stories," Sarah mused, breaking the silence. "The ones that don't make headlines, but that are important to us. Maybe that's what life is really about." Jake nodded, and I couldn't help but smile. Yeah, it's those little moments that remind us why we keep going, why we keep looking forward to tomorrow. After spending some time on the hill, we started our way back. The walk home was filled with light chatter, discussing plans for the next day, silly jokes, and even a few songs we sang aloud with abandon. It was one of those times when everything felt connected. Every word and every pause mattered. At home, I sat down in my favorite armchair, thinking back on the day. It wasn't extraordinary by any grand measure, but it was filled with authenticity and small joys. I thought of how life often surprises you. In the sound of raindrops, in a laugh shared by friends, and in the conversation about art, dreams, and the courage to change. Sometimes, what we need isn't something dramatic. It's simply the willingness to embrace the moment. That night, as I laid in bed, I replayed the day over and over in my mind, cherishing each memory. I finally understood that our stories aren't just the big, flashy events that we all strive for. They're built out of everyday conversations, daily choices, and those unplanned moments that bring us closer to understanding what truly matters. It's amazing how a simple day can turn into a tapestry of emotions and experiences, layered with the ordinary and the magical alike. I drifted off to sleep with a warm smile, grateful for the small wonders of life. and wondering what tomorrow might bring. After all, sometimes the little things in life are exactly what we need to keep moving forward, even if it's just one step at a time.